It's men who decided that they wanted to be providers and protectors and that women would be subservient to them. This setup suited men for centuries just fine. And until they decided that they didn't want to be providers and protectors anymore. We've always said that men hate seeing women succeed, and now the research has proven it. This study released last week shows how unhappy men are when the woman is the sole breadwinner in heterosexual relationships. It said women's breadwinning carries such a heavy psychological burden for men that they would prefer she was not employed at all. After accounting for basic characteristics, income, and gender attitudes, out of work men report significantly higher life satisfaction when both partners are jobless. Men in female breadwinner couples report the lowest well being when they are unemployed. In fact, unemployed men would rather swap places with their breadwinner wives. Men's well being is significantly higher when the woman is unemployed instead of the man. In many countries, being the breadwinner remains central to a man's sense of self. Providing financially for the family is key to masculinity and tantamount to being a quote-unquote good dad. Meanwhile, gendered expectations of selflessness may lead women to go further than men in shielding a partner from the true extent of their distress. One of my followers has a very thoughtful response to the video I did on this article. He said, I just watched your video commenting on the impact of a man not being the breadwinner and his well-being. So I take a different slant on the conversation. A man's general sense of self is being able to provide and to protect. In the absence of that, he feels like a failure. Several studies have shown a positive relationship between unemployment and loss of well-being in men. Now, the truth is being a man is lonely because no one supports us generally, especially in Jamaica that doesn't have things like unemployment. You shared that women wouldn't take certain roles so as not to offend their men. That's problematic. But there's another issue. Many women begin to see the man as less than in those situations, and we become like a giant bug. So many men in relationships cannot comfortably trust their women to protect and care for men's emotions in that state. I think culturally we need to train men and women that life has ups and downs and train them in supporting each other. In using a case study, I find that when support is the basis of a relationship, then that issue you shared is minimized. It's men who decided that they wanted to be providers and protectors and that women would be subservient to them. This setup suited men for centuries just fine. And until they decided that they didn't want to be providers and protectors anymore and still expected that women would be subservient. In fact, a lot of the women that I know no longer have these expectations of men because we have been harmed so much by men. We know that they don't provide for us. They are more likely to leech off us these days. We know that they don't protect us because most of the harm done to women, physically, emotionally, sexually, financially, is committed by men. So we no longer have these patriarchal and traditional expectations of men. And what women have done is we have decided to be our own providers, our own protectors, and we have shifted the dynamic. Now, the thing that is a bit confusing to me is why men have not sought to transition into other roles now that they are no longer being viewed by the majority of women as providers and protectors. Like, why don't you see yourselves as collaborators with women? I understand what you're saying, these supportive relationships, but I think that your view is as an outlier. You know how I know that? Because as soon as a man speaks up about not being a controlling a-hole to women, other men on here call him simp. Other men are the ones who jump and want to attack a man when he says he wants a supportive relationship with women. Women welcome that. It's other men that you have to contend with. Men are the ones who are opposing progressive moves for men. And in the Jamaican context, where having 50 gal and a baby mother in every parish is considered one of the most manly things you can do, good luck convincing your fellow men that they ought to be in supportive relationships, that they ought to be looking to build partnerships and not situations of control. Good luck convincing them, because Jamaican women have not been able to convince our men that collaborative and supportive relationships actually work out better for them. We have not been successful in convincing our men that this is actually the best arrangement. Jamaican men are, for the most part, still interested in being controllers, even in situations, even to their own detriment. And when you say that women begin to see the man as less than in certain situations, and the men can comfortably trust women to protect and care for women's emotions in that state, I'm just gonna speak from my experience, is that when men are making money, they treat you like crap, especially Jamaican men. When men have money and they are the breadwinners, and they have a tendency to think that they can do whatever they want and you can't say or do anything about it. So in oppressive situations like the patriarchy, when the table is turned, men feel that you're going to do the same thing to them. And some women probably will.